Again, I don't think anyone feels good. We're lost 4 or 5, so I think there's a lot of bad football from what I watch. I watch a lot of bad football.
It has been a very unfortunate season for Tom Brady. I mean, I don't think any of us anticipated him going through this when he initially announced that he was going to return to the game of football. But I also don't think we've ever seen the face of our sport literally have his entire life open to the public to comment on and analyze. I mean, it just seems like Tom Brady's entire world is collapsing at this point. Everything from on the field to off the field. And at the same time, he's addressing these personal struggles in a podcast so we can see what he's going through. And I have nothing but empathy for the human being. So before we get to the content, we give away $100 to a subscriber that turns on our notifications on this channel. We announce a brand new winner each and every week. And I want to announce today's giveaway winner is It's Chizaku. Congratulations, man. Just let me know in the comment section where I can reach out to you. And now that we got all that out of the way, work! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody?
I apologize if my voice seems a little off, guys. I'm on like 3 hours of sleep. I was woken up to this news the moment I found out that it happened, and I felt like I needed to make a video for you guys as soon as possible because
your boy's heading out of town to a music festival this weekend. If you guys want to see where, just check my Instagram, but I digress. Over the past couple of weeks, there is no question that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been losing games to lesser teams. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we saw the Buccaneers face off against the Pittsburgh Steelers and lose to them, which no disrespect to the Steelers, but you have to admit, this is a team that's trending more towards rebuilding as opposed to contention. After losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers and thinking, okay, this is quite possibly just a one-off fluke for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Buccaneers lost in incredibly embarrassing fashion to, without a doubt, the worst team in the NFL, the Carolina Panthers. And although in this game, you didn't really see Tom Brady yelling at his offensive linemen in the sidelines like he did in the Pittsburgh Steelers game, it still was embarrassing because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers couldn't even score a touchdown against a team that just traded their best player and is probably trying to tank for a brand new quarterback at the top of the 2023 NFL draft. But that could all be forgiven. Even though the Tampa Bay Buccaneers entered the game with a 3-4 record versus the Baltimore Ravens, if they were able to defeat the Baltimore Ravens on Thursday Night Football on national TV, one, it would completely alter the public's perception of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but two, a win over a really good team would be a good way to get back on track heading into November. Unfortunately for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it just seemed like it was more of the same, although I do have to admit, it did seem like things were getting a little bit better. I mean, at least way better than what they were against the Carolina Panthers. But regardless, you did see Tom Brady have several moments of frustration throughout the game. One including him throwing his iPad and possibly breaking another one, which I don't know what's up with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady just loving to break iPads. I just think it's really funny when you see older coaches and older players like chuck technology to the side. But once again, you saw Tom Brady yelling at his center, which I don't necessarily know what he was yelling at his center for, but it happened once again. And at the end of the day, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost. The Buccaneers are now 3-5. They're 2 games under 500, and this is Tom Brady's worst losing record of his entire career, which is crazy if you think about it. Coming into the season, I've stated before that I didn't necessarily understand why Tom Brady decided to come back, and it's not necessarily my choice to make. I thought he's achieved everything there is to achieve that a football player would ever want to achieve. I feel like he was able to do it and still keep his brain intact. I felt like playing until the age of 44 and playing at the level that he was able to play at last year was phenomenal. The amount of Super Bowls that he's won is more than any team in the entire NFL and any player in the NFL. So the decision to come back, despite the Tampa Bay Buccaneers clearly being a lesser team, he saw several key members of his offensive line retire. He saw Rob Gronkowski kind of look at him and say, I'm not joining you this time, buddy. Despite the Tampa Bay Buccaneers being a little worse this year than they were last year, still deciding to come back was something that made me raise an eyebrow, but at the same time, time, I did think that Tom Brady initially said a while ago that he plans to play until the age of 45. Now, things are taking a pretty interesting turn. Now, I don't mean to come here and psychoanalyze Tom Brady because he's a man that's very complicated as well. I feel like he is really struggling to let go of the sport that he loves, because there are moments where I am unsure if he's being dead serious about how he sees his future, and when you really piece things together, it may start to make a little sense. Do you remember in our last video when I showed you Tom Brady saying that he plans on continuing to play football and he doesn't see retirement in his future?
No retirement in my future. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Now, do you also remember how I told you a while ago that there's this Page 6 article about Gisele and Tom Brady fighting over his decision to return to football? Gisele's only request, reportedly, was the fact that she just wanted Tom Brady to be present in her life and in her family's life. But on top of that, we also discussed that it makes sense that after all these years of sacrifice, Gisele wants to resume her career, and she thinks Tom Brady really overextended his welcome in playing NFL games, which makes a lot of sense. The average quarterback retires at the age of 37 to 39. Tom Brady has been playing until the age of 45. I mean, last year, the age of 44. So imagine being Gisele saying, okay, he's 39 now, he should retire now, right? And then he wins another Super Bowl with the Patriots. He's like, okay, he's won another Super Bowl and he's in his 40s. Now he should retire, right? Then he goes to Tampa Bay, and in his first season with Tampa Bay, he wins a Super Bowl without Bill Belichick. At that point, you'd think Tom Brady would retire, but no, he comes back for his age 44 season and he has a prolific season, and then his team gets significantly worse. So at that point, you would think Tom Brady's going to retire, right? It doesn't seem like it's in his future at all whatsoever. So originally, the report was over his decision to return. And whenever Gisele was asked about the situation, she did give some interesting tidbits about her stance, primarily the fact that she felt like she couldn't be in a committed relationship with someone that is inconsistent with her. Now, yesterday, this was the report that I was telling you about in the beginning of the video, where I felt like we didn't necessarily have enough to bring you a full video about this. But Gisele actually gave Tom Brady an ultimatum. Yeah, I know 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, they both filed for divorce lawyers, but actually Gisele gave him a chance yesterday, reportedly. According to Mike Florio via US Weekly, Gisele told Tom Brady to retire or she's gone for good. Tom Brady's wife Gisele has informed him that either he leaves football to spend time with the family or she is gone for good. Now, it's not specified whether he must leave now or next month or after the current year ends. Brady has recently said more than once that he won't be retiring during the 2022 season. Based on the report, she presumably wants it to happen sooner rather than later. Now, the way this is framed, it seems like Gisele is trying to save Tom Brady from himself or is just trying to protect Tom Brady. I think that it's like a mix of, okay, Tom, like, this isn't going to end well for you if you play until the age of 45. Like, you are really dancing with the devil at this point. One wrong hit from one of these super fast defensive ends that could run 4.5 40-yard dashes, and you're screwed for the rest of your life. But at the same time, you have to understand she probably wants him to be home with the family. She wants to probably have the flexibility to resume her own career. I'm sure there's multiple reasons why she wants him to retire at this point, but this is what the article says. She doesn't want him to continue to get injured and not to be able to enjoy life in the future. She is doing it for her family. The article then echoed a sentiment that she had 5 years ago, saying, I just have to say as a wife, I'm a little bit, as you know, it's not the most, let's say it's an aggressive sport. Football, like, he had a concussion last year. I mean, he has concussions pretty much. I mean, we don't talk about it, but he does have concussions. I don't think it's a healthy thing for your body to go through, like, you know, to that kind of aggression all the time. That cannot be healthy for you, right? I mean, I plan on him being healthy and to do a lot of fun things when we're like 100, hope. It seems like that's not necessarily where this is going. So, according to every single freaking source that I have, from Ian Rappaport to Tom Pelissaro to Emmanuel Acho to Bleacher Report and Ari Meirov, it seems like it's just getting worse for Tom Brady and his world is continuing to collapse because Tom Brady has just announced that he has finalized a divorce with Gisele after after 13 years together. Now pay attention to the language that is being used here, guys, because based upon the way that both Tom Brady and Giselle make their statements here, it's really clear what this divorce is all about, and it might be what we thought all along. So the very first info we got was from none other than Tom Brady. He posted this onto his Instagram story. In recent days, my wife and I finalized our divorce from one another after 13 years of marriage. We arrived at this decision amicably and with gratitude for the time we spent together. Bro, I'm gonna be honest, like, Giselle's response doesn't seem amicable at all whatsoever, but we'll continue on. We are blessed with beautiful and wonderful children who will continue to be the center of our world in every way. We will continue to work together as parents to always ensure they receive the love and attention they deserve. We arrived at this decision to end our marriage after much consideration. Doing so is, of course, painful and difficult, like it is for many people who go through the same thing every day around the world. However, we wish only the best for each other as we pursue whatever new chapters in our lives that are yet to be written, and we kindly ask for privacy and respect as we navigate what is to come in the days and weeks ahead. Thank you. Bro, it's really unfortunate because they aren't going to get privacy and respect. It's a very private thing that has been made so public because it's Tom Brady and Giselle. You know what I mean? It's like the face of the NFL with one of the most notorious and well-respected modeling entrepreneurs of our time. So seeing them divorce is obviously going to be a really big deal. Now, Giselle's statement wasn't as respectful. I mean, I think that's the wrong way to say it. It wasn't as amicable. There's a lot of shade being thrown at Tom here, as a matter of fact. So according to Tom Pelissero, which by the way, it's just so funny to me that I'm getting this news not from TMZ, not from Page 6, but from Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero and Ari Meirov. But this is what Giselle posted on her story. With much gratitude for our time together, Tom and I have amicably finalized our divorce. My priority has always been and will continue to be our children, whom I love with all my heart. You see, there might be something there. We will continue co-parenting to give them the love, care, and attention that they deserve. The decision to end a marriage is never easy, but we have grown apart, and while it is, of course, difficult to go through something like this, I feel blessed for the time we had together and only wish the best for Tom always. I kindly ask that our privacy is respected during this sensitive time. Thank you, Giselle. The piece about her children, I mean, this could be an overanalyzation, might be her kind of taking a shot at Tom Brady for not being as available, but hey man, I'm a sports commentator. I'm not necessarily a relationship expert. I was dragged into this because, well, it's Tom freaking Brady, bro. Regardless, man, I feel tremendous empathy for Tom Brady because it just seems like he's having such a difficult year from the moment he decided to come back for this season. I mean, everything's going wrong from on the field to off of the field to him realizing that sacrifices need to be made in order to achieve what he wants to achieve. And I feel empathy for the man because he's clearly learning a very difficult lesson here. I would like to think that their divorce is a little bit more complicated than, hey, Tom, retire or else, even though there's a lot of evidence suggesting that it is that. Because if that is the case, Tom is probably going to just play out this year and that's it. Could Giselle possibly feel like, hey, it's too little too late at this point? Maybe, I don't know. But regardless, the main purpose of this video wasn't necessarily to notify you guys that they got divorced. It was just the fact that for the very first time in my life, at least, you're seeing Tom Brady go through significant amounts of adversity. I mean, this isn't like the Deflategate scandal or when he tore his ACL versus Bernard Pollard back in 2008. This isn't like losing to the New York Giants in the Super Bowl 2 times. This isn't a sports story that we're rooting for him to come from behind from. This is a life story. And it's just so fascinating. It's all out there in the public eye. Every part of his life is made public for us to just see the personal struggle that he is going through. And a divorce and lack of success, at least for this upcoming year so far, is already difficult to stomach. The fact that it is out there in public for people to comment on and analyze is just a completely different level. So my stance has been and will continue to be to just have empathy for Tom Brady and for Giselle. I know a lot of people are going to say in the comments, but Mike, they're rich, but that's never a reason to say, hey, they're happy. Regardless, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.